Hello, my friends. Ian here. Sorry I couldn't be with you. I've been asked to talk a little bit about what it means to start with why. Some of you might be familiar with Simon Sinek's really fantastic book or TED Talk on Starts With Why. And to me, it's really revolutionary in terms of how we look at ending homelessness. Why do you want to end homelessness? Why do you want to do coordinated entry? Why do you want a great by name list? Why do you do street outreach? Why do you operate shelters or day centers? It's really easy to tell people what we do. It's kind of easy to talk about how we do it. Where it becomes really difficult is explaining to people why we do it. What happens if you started the other way around? What if you started with talking about why it is you want to do those things rather than how you do them or what exactly it is you're going to do? Do others believe what you believe? That's the critical question. If others in your community believe what you believe, then it's easy to build a coalition of people who want to work night and day to figure out how to accomplish this incredible task of ending homelessness. If people don't believe what you believe, well, you'll spend all day in meetings trying to convince them with data when really their belief starts with emotion. And so I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to give some very critical thought to why is it that you are doing what you do to end homelessness? And why people who are homeless? Don't just tell me you want to help people. You could help kids or seniors or people leaving incarceration. Why do you want to end homelessness? If you can answer that, and you can figure out how to share it with others, then you'll quickly see if others believe what you believe. And if they do, then you can figure out how to get to the finish line in a way that makes most sense to ensure that your community truly is built for zero.
And I have to go back to 1985, the first night I spent the night at a shelter, Mount Carmel House in Washington, D.C. And by the time I went home on Monday morning, I realized the women there were so much more like me than different than me. And if they're like me in many ways, then they ought to be like me in finding a place to live also.
I am unable to accept living in a world where my young children think of homelessness as inevitable for some of our fellow citizens. That for some folks, it's just the way that it is.
I work on ending homelessness because I believe it's our calling as public servants and as human beings to fight injustice and to serve people who need a safe place to live.
I see myself in every single person that we serve, and I see the people that are served in myself. I do this work because I see people who experience homelessness as my equal.
For me, the fire for ending homelessness was really driven, and it continues to be driven by the suffering and injustice that I see in the people that I meet and the thousands of homeless people that I've spoken to, and the desire that this is not right and that I have to do something about it.
That for literally decades, my mother volunteered every month to help prepare meals for a program in Boston. And then after my father died a few years ago, we actually learned that very quietly, with none of us being aware, he every month was giving money to a program for men experiencing homelessness in Boston. So for me, I get kind of the honor and the privilege of doing this work and feeling like I'm carrying on a long-standing family tradition, and that feels really important to me as well.
I hope at some point, we can help everyone be kind of the best versions of themselves. And I think in that process of helping others, we end up becoming the best version of ourselves as well. I mean, I don't think that you can just do this job halfway. I think you got to go all the way. And sometimes the challenge is, whether it's the people or the bureaucracy or the rules of the framework, they test you. And you rise up and you summon up the best version of yourself to accomplish. Because if you don't, nothing changes, and the same vulnerable people stay vulnerable and they stay out in the street. But if you can harness that, if you can be even close to, a fraction of the best person of yourself, that has a big impact, and it can change a lot of lives.